If you were to tell me 5 years ago that Pioneer was going to be available on Magic the Gathering Arena, I would not have believed you. But after doing some extensive research, I have figured out that it is well in the works. There were a couple times where it was announced and it just never happened, but now, looking forward, Wizards is dedicating more efforts towards getting Pioneer fully capable on Magic the Gathering Arena. We're looking for some packages, we're looking for a few sets, and lo and behold, we have had a few sets that kind of leaned towards that a little bit. More specifically, the packs from Shadow over Instagram, which basically tells me that it is coming. It's just a matter of time. For this reason, we are preparing for full Pioneer to be possible on Magic the Gathering Arena. Therefore, I want to get some decks ready. This one right here, this is a beast of a deck in Pioneer, and it definitely is an Explorer as well. We are getting right into a mono blue Spirits deck. Well, what exactly does this deck do? If you guys are familiar with Standard right now, the mono blue deck with the Haughty Djinn and this and that, this is better than that. This deck is tried and true and has access to the standard stuff as well as older stuff in the format like Ascendant Spirit and the Faceless Haven, which just puts this on a whole different level. Let's look at this deck. Let's figure out what it's trying to do, then get into the arena and show you how it's played. Well, we start off with stuff like the Ascendant Spirit, things that have to be removed, but we don't want that to happen, so we have tons of stuff like Spell Pierce, Slip Out the Backs, etc. to keep things like Ascendant Spirit alive. If you are unaware, for one, Ascendant Spirit is a snow creature that whenever you pump 2 little chunks of snow into him, he becomes a 2/3, then a 4/4, and then progressively gets larger. When he becomes a 4/4, he becomes a Spirit Warrior Angel with base power and toughness of a 4/4 with flying. Fantastic. And then you get 2 1/1 counters on him, and you get to draw a card if you keep growing him. Yep, you could grow him indefinitely. He's definitely a threat that your opponent wants to get off of the field whenever he gets on the board. Everything in here is a spirit. Mausoleum Wanderer, the Rattlechains, the Supreme Phantom, and the Shacklegeist. Those are our creatures for this deck, and we are drawing more cards with Combat Research, which if you play in Standard, you're probably familiar with, and Curious Obsession. If you're a new player, you might not be aware of this, but there's a slightly better Combat Research out there, which gives an enchanted creature +1/+1, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, which in my opinion, is absolutely fantastic. Gets +1/+1 and gets a card whenever you deal combat damage to a player. That's going to be pretty easy because most of our things in this deck are flying and they're cheap. It doesn't matter if they're removed because they don't really do a whole lot individually, but as a whole, they do fantastic things altogether. Right. So, Rattlechains acts as a basically counterspell. He helps get hexproof onto your creatures, which is really nice if they're getting targeted. The Shacklegeist helps to tap down other creatures. The Supreme Phantom makes your other spirits a little bit bigger. And of course, we've already talked about Ascendant Spirit. Spectral Sailor, last creature, it's cheap, and for 4 you could draw a card. So individually, they don't do much. They're very small. They're really nice in the air. Aerial superiority is fantastic in here. In Magic, it's just always been good. Most colors can't even touch you, which is great. Now, let's talk about the other things that this deck is doing. So, we know that we're drawing cards with Combat Research and Curious Obsession. We're also protecting our creatures with things like Slip Out the Back and Spell Pierce, which counters a non-creature spell unless the opponent pays 2. You all know what this card is. We also have some interesting counters in here called Lofty Denial, which is, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1, unless you control a creature with flying, in which case the opponent has to pay 4. That is a hefty ask at any point in the game with almost any deck. And we want to be out of these decks before it hits the mid-range, which is when this deck just gets curb stomped a little bit. We also have the Geistlight Snare. 4 copies of this. Cost 1 less if you control a spirit, and 1 less if you control an enchantment. Well, we have our enchantments here, and we have our spirits and the rest of the cards. So, generally, this guy's going to cost 1 if everything goes perfectly according to plan. So, a lot of counterspells. The final key to this is, since we're playing Snowlands for the Ascendant Spirit, we're also playing 3 copies of the Faceless Haven, which becomes a 4/3 creature with Vigilance and is all creature types until the end of turn. Still a land. You could swing in for this and still use this to cast something. Absolutely fantastic. If we are flooding, we're hoping to have Faceless Haven on the field, and we just get damage off that way if need be. There are many situations where Faceless Haven is the only way for a deck to get damage off, and lo and behold, sometimes it is the key with this deck. Now, I would say that any fast deck or any moderately slow deck is going to struggle against spirits. We are going to struggle against control because control has much more ability to counter things than we do, but we can stick to it. We can stick in those matches a bit. As you'll see, we do face a control deck, and it gets really interesting. But that's what this deck is trying to do. Trying to get some tempo off, get extra card advantage in the hand, with the Curious Obsession, Combat Research, and if all else fails, smash them in the face with the Faceless Haven over and over again until they die. Sideboards for blue are a little bit awkward and clunky. Yeah, we have the Mystical Disputes that are great against control players. We also have a couple of Witness Protections that makes a big creature small, but for the most part, our sideboard is very situational based off of which deck we're going up against. It's just very standard blue sideboarding here. Nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary. But we don't really need to sideboard that heavily in this deck. We will do situational sideboards. But for the most part, this deck works really well as it is laid out in front of you here. You can find this deck list over at Aether Hub. You could also find this deck list in the description below. Let's get right into the nitty gritty in the arena, in Ranked, in Explorer, and I will see you there. Absolutely outrageous hand. 4 mana. We do have a Spell Pierce. We could do some things on the opponent's side. Hopefully we never draw mana ever again. Ever again. And we just go for it. Tapped land. We got a Sailor now. That actually turned into an okay hand. Mana. Pass. Cool. We will throw a Spectral Sailor into the ring, and we are facing control. Yes, we are. Ascendant Spirit. We swing in for 1. Control's kind of a tough matchup for us because we try to do some control-y things, but we're really set up to face mid-range. Plains. Pass. Okay. Well, since we don't really have a whole lot to do here, we grow the Ascendant Spirit. And we swing. Here we come. Shark Typhoon. Okay, well, it's going to be a 1. Yeah, we'll want 1. Takes out the Sailor. That's fine. I'm happy with the results. I'm going to Shark Typhoon to the graveyard. 4th mana. Memory Deluge counter. Hopefully that's enough. Facing control is very hard for this deck. Let's just grow our boy. Swing. Down to 10. Yeah, I know. Opponent's at 10 health. I'm at 20, but I still feel like we are losing this. Maybe he's going for like a slip out the back or a kill spell. Fateful Absence. That's the one. Alright. Should have held the mana open. Well, we dropped the Spectral Sailor. We draw a slip out the back. That would have been nice. Swing. Tons of ways to draw cards, stuff like that. This is fine. Looking okay. We just gotta beat him to death before he actually kills me. Activate this. Drawing a card. Mana. Gross. He is tapped out, so we want to take advantage of that while we can and get the Rattlechains onto the battlefield. Lotus Field. Alright, well, you're going to have to sack 2. You didn't have your tricks out there. Let's go with the Rattlechains. Give it that hexproof. My turn. Mana again? Oh boy. Love to see it. Down to 6 and we pass. Love to see it. Teferi. Alright, that's a dangerous one. We got it. Get out of here, Teferi. We finally drew a counterspell. Down to 3. Okay, remember, he could be cast at flash speed now. We do have 1 spell pierce as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's cost 7. So he has 6 mana, and we spell pierce that. And that's game. That is game. Good game. Yep. Whew. Kind of tough to deal with control with this specific deck. You got a lot of blue stuff. So we're going to come in with the Mystical Disputes. Mystical Dispute, if you're unaware, costs 2 less. If it targets a blue spell, you counter target spell unless this controller pays 3. Pretty nice. It's better than Spell Pierce, I think, in this deck. Though we still want to hold our Lofty Denials and, you know, our Geistlight Snares. Get rid of one of these. And one of these. Just a little bit more diversity with counterspells. Probably cheaper, probably getting them off for Spell Pierce price, but getting a better effect. I can't keep this. I can't keep that. We got to keep this. We got the Mystical Dispute. We got the Sailor. We drop a land. Oh, by the way, this deck operates fantastically on 2 or 3 lands. If you get more than that, you're flooding. And you're flooding pretty heavily. Opponent. Yeah. My turn. Sailor. Pass. Yeah, we swing. Hitting for 1. Do the business. Pass back to the opponent. What you got? Seems a little bit timid now. Okay, Lotus Field. Sacrificing the 2 lands. Okay, he's got the Tail's End. Ooh, I'm going to counter that, right? Counter the Tail's End. Well, no, you don't get the ramp. Castle Ventress is gone. Or Ventress. You know what I meant. Oh, that is pretty brutal. No land, so we just swing. Huh. Drop the Wanderer down or wait? We can wait. We can wait. Lofty Denial. It's one of his only creatures in this deck. If we counter this, he's in rough shape. Got plenty of counters as well, so. Haven, that's very good. And now we could probably drop our Mausoleum Wanderer and just end turn. Opponent, my turn? Perfect. Swing. We're just swinging here. We don't want to get the Faceless Haven involved. Not yet. We still have a Mystical Dispute. Yeah, he would have killed my Haven. Because he's got March. Phase it out. Yeah, phase it out. You get to do nothing, sir. Now, we aren't just countering everything, but he's really stuck on lands. There's his fourth one. Sheoldred the Apocalypse. No. No. But we are in a bit of a pickle now. Now we got to be very fast. I countered a little bit too much, I think. Flying. He's going to be very happy if we do this. We have to pretend to hold some sort of counter. Well, we kind of do, because instances and sorceries can be countered by the Wanderer unless the opponent pays 2. Therefore, we're probably safe from board wipes for now. Faceless Haven comes in, does the business again. 5, 6, 7. This is 7. We probably miss Fatal if he doesn't do anything, but he will. We're going to let that go. We're going to let it go. It goes down to 5. Tough matchup. Tough matchup. March. That's fine. What else? Got 2 mana available. Well, we're going to draw a card. Ascendant Spirit, Ascendant Spirit. This is not quite operating how I would hope it would. Huh, do we want to pay 3 for it? Yeah, I'll pay 3. But now he knows I'm kind of wide open. And I am. I'm wide open. All the counters are done. They're in the bin. We weren't able to draw any more. We weren't able to draw Curious Confession or the other one, the standard one. That allows us to, you know, draw a card every time we do combat damage. We weren't able to draw any of that stuff. So hope to God we actually get this damage off. And there's a Teferi. That's disgusting. But down to 2. And tapped out? What is he doing? Okay, it looks like he wants to die. This man wants to... No, he gets on top of the Lotus Field. That's right. Lockdown, maybe? He's got something. Let's try to draw out of this. Absence. That's fine. Real tough matchup. Get the 1 damage off. Down to 1. Spirit. And now creature size really doesn't matter. Okay, draw a card.
Keep up the pace.
We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Memory Deluge. We let it go. We're hoping he won't be able to get the board wipe off right now. There are things that he can do. Sacks to 2. Goes for 6 open at the end step. Let's go ahead and flash in the Sailor Combat Research. It's not going to matter, right? Yep. Oh, what a tough matchup. Oh, man. This deck against control, it might seem fast, but sometimes it likes to take its time. This deck really does like to take its time. It works on its own pace, and control is trying to work on his own pace as well. As you saw, he did fairly well getting the Lotus Field out, but he finally did have to sack those lands. Maybe he got a little stuck on land. Yeah, because the Esper deck, or the Azorius deck is a little bit expensive, the way that a lot of people build it. Hey, but victory! We did it! Match number 1 is ours. I think we just got really unlucky with hands. This is more of like what you want to see with a hand with this deck. Fine mixture of spells and creatures, mostly creatures, but we do have some spells. He's gone down to 5. Maybe the arena is taking some pity on me. Next turn, are we growing the spirit or holding up Spell Pierce? That's the real question. Well, I guess we hold up Spell Pierce and we Spectral Sailor as well. Blue Rune Crab. Well, here's the thing. Drop the Wanderer. Pass. Nah, just pass. We don't need to do this whole blocking shenanigans where it's just going to take up time. Rune Crab or Ruin Crab? Okay. Well, do your worst. Plays a land. We mill 6. Good stuff. Yeah. Lots of lands went to the graveyard. Get our sailor out. Grows the spirit. Gets a couple damage off here. Yes, you're going to block it. Right? Yes, he does. Down to 18. Next time we grow our spirit, put him in the air. He probably doesn't have any interactions against my creatures, though I've been seeing a lot of these mill decks with things that actually target creatures lately, so that could maybe not be true. Maybe it's good to have a Spell Pierce up whenever we swing. But he hasn't done it yet. He might have already done it if he was going to do something to the Ascendant Spirit. Probably not, though. We get a pretty long rope here. He's gone? Huh. Weird. Let's try it anyway. Swing. Is this just too much pressure for him and he just left? Let's see if he ropes again. I'm going to go over to Cookie Clicker. I will see you guys in a moment. And we're back. Swing. Down to 6. Let's just go ahead and intern. I'm not sure where we are in the match. Like, our opponent was roping, so I just kind of went over to another game for a second. Hey, he's there! Welcome back, opponent. Well, alright. We mill 6. What else? We have Spell Pierce up. And that's whenever we use it. He's out. All right. Mr. Gets angry whenever things go incorrectly. Lofty Denial, Geistlight Snare. Nope. Sailor, Denial. That said, a healthy mix between spells and not spells. I think we dump this off and go. The reason we keep this is Faceless Haven. Thoughtseize! Alright, well, there goes the Supreme Phantom. It's my best card. Lofty Denial might be the target. Yeah, it is. We got 2 Faceless Havens. Probably just Faceless Havening all the way through. Now, he doesn't know what this card is, so maybe he's afraid of Spell Pierce. Maestro's Theater. So no crab. That's really good for us. Swamp. Thoughtseize again? Yep, of course it's Thoughtseize again. All right, well, you do your worst. Do you want to discard the Sailor? No, you don't. Okay, well, we will Spectral Sailor. Pass back to you. Swing in for 1, pass the turn. Opponent down to 14. He's one of those players that get a little tilted, so played a little bit oddly. With Thought Seizes in a graveyard deck, that's kind of weird, right? You still ran into the counter. Alright, well, let's keep going. Swing in for 1 damage. When we get this other Faceless Haven on the ground, like, this is a really not great hand for us. Fantastic. Rogue stuff. A Geist Snare goes to the bin. Go to my turn. Curious Obsession, though. Nah, smash him in the face. We're face smashing today. Come on. Do you have removal in there too? You do. All right. Popping for 1 more. All right, we'll take 1. Fantastic stuff, opponent. Go ahead and get the Curious Obsession on the Spectral Sailor. And swing. We'll start drawing some cards. Try to draw our way out of it. If he tries to remove this, we just slip out the back. Should have actually resolved it before Curious Obsession was put onto the card. But hey, beggars and choosers. Beggars, choosers. And, yep, that's good. That certainly is good. We'll take 1 more. I'm going to guess he's mostly tapped out, so getting 7 off here is pretty safe. Take the action. Draws a Sailor. Okay. That's fine. That's totally fine. Depending on what his last card is, we only have 17 left in deck. Oh boy. Well, let's get our guy in there. Swing. Down to 2. Okay. Pass. It's come down to the wire. Okay, he is gone. Oh, we had 15 cards left. So we finally lost a round, and we're planning on, well, we're not keeping this. We're planning on getting a little bit of revenge here. This is a fine hand. It's hard to know what to get rid of, though. Huh. It's a tough one. We're keeping... Maybe we're getting rid of the Phantom? We'll build back up to it. Think we just passed this first turn. Rakdos! I knew it! Knew it! Yes. Passes back to us. We answer with Sailor on his turn. Yeah, let's do that. Because this is the Rakdos sack deck. If I've ever seen it. There's 1 damage. We take the 1. Corrupted Conviction. There's 2. He's got the land there. That's good. That's very good for the opponent. Unlucky Witness is 1 heck of a card for that bone. Or that bone. Gutter Bones is coming out for that deck. We counter Gutter Bones. Just slows him down a little bit. Mausoleum Wanderer. And pass. Reinforced Rodin. Do not care. I can't be bothered. Swings. No blocks. And what else? He returns it to his hand. Okay, we just slowed him down just a little bit. I'm dropping this. Sailor. Wanderer gets a little bit bigger for the turn. And we draw land. That's actually the perfect draw for us. Let's put this on the Sailor and swing. I'm going to draw cards. That's strong. Drawing cards is always pretty strong. Yep, go ahead. Do your worst. You got 2 damage per turn. I've got 2 damage per turn. Gutter Bones, I guess we'll let it go. And pass. My turn. Okay. Starting to build out that mana base. Swings. Get another choice of a card. It is a Faceless Haven. That will hold back his Reinforced Ronin. Let's drop more Air Force in his way. And pass. We still can't flash our creatures in, which is kind of a shame. Collateral damage. Slip out the back. That protects him indefinitely. He could take these other 2 out. It's not super big of a deal. Okay, Reinforced Ronin again. Comes on in. We'll let the damage through. And what else? Village Rites. Okay, more cards. Very well done. Epicure. Also very good. Faceless Haven will come down. I think we just all swing, right? Yeah, no reason not to. Put him down to 11. Draws a card. Lofty Denial is very good. Opponent comes in for a 1. That's fine. We'll take 8 damage. No big deal. Now he's tapped out, though. Maybe he was hoping that I blocked with the Faceless Haven. No, he's just doing things. Could counter that. Now let the Epicure come in. There's so many more dangerous things that could come out. And if he wants to kill me with Epicures, it's going to be a while. That's 3. Come on out with the Faceless Haven. Yeah, baby. Get in there, hot and heavy, swing. Blocks a Haven. Hey. Okay. So we... This. You had too many cards, man. Keep countering them. That has to hurt his hand a little bit. Hopefully. Hopefully he doesn't have more card draw. We just used 2 counterspells to make sure that you couldn't draw cards. So that better be enough. Look at his graveyard compared to ours. That's insane. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9 damage coming at face next turn as things stand. It looks to be enough. It looks to be enough. Protection from red could be very good here. Let's get rid of these. And get 3 of these. Protection from red sounds pretty solid. Okay, so this is a lot of good stuff, but very few on creatures. This second game might go to the opponent here. We'll see. I think this hand is fine against his deck. Discard a card, sacrifice this, draw a card. Well, let's go ahead and let you go. Let you do your thing. Hopefully you tap out. Okay, swings. Fine. What else? Gassed. Fine. Nothing. 1 mana hand. Very strange. Put the Curious Obsession on the Sailor. And let's try to get card advantage very rapidly. I keep 1 mana hands with this deck a lot as well, by the way. 1 mana hands aren't necessarily bad, they just usually are bad. Got counter. We also got slip out the back. Yeah, we're gonna let that happen. Here's why. We're gonna take damage here. He thinks he's got it. Oh no. Oh wait. We're good. We are good. Because the Geistlight Snare became more expensive. Now he's gonna try to sack it, but we could just slip it out the back. I thought I'd screw that up. Oh, I did. Okay, I did screw that up. You're welcome. My turn. I thought he was going to do something different. But, beggars, choosers. Okay. In the turn. Screw that up a little bit. I'm not used to playing in Explorer. It does happen. Getting used to a format. Here we go. What you got there, buddy? Go to my turn. Fine. Ascendant Spirit is really good. Get the Curious Obsession going. He's probably going to try to do something. Slip it out the back. Goes away. We did lose a Curious Obsession, though. So now our goal is to just beat him to death. All right. Bit awkward all the way through. We do have the Mausoleum Wanderer down, which acts as a counterspell, as well as he's just a 2/2 flyer. Currently. Swings. No blocks. Down to 10. What now? Another Relentless Dead. I actually think that that's fine. It's not preferred. It is fine. 2, 4, 5. Okay. My turn. Rattlechains. Sure, whatever. And we got a Lofty Denial. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 5 on field. Let's swing. Drop the Spirit in the turn. Okay. Opponent. Yeah, his deck's kind of surprised me a little bit. Claim the Firstborn. I know how this goes now. Lofty Denial. Haha. No whammy, huh? Okay, what else? Huh. I'm gonna actually sacrifice this now. You will not get my creature. Sorry. Coming in for 4. It's pretty good. Growing this is probably the smartest, because then I pulled up Counterspells. Yep. Do it like this. He blocks a 3 here. Down to 2. Probably creating the treasure. He does. And we have the Geistlight Snare as well as Spell Pierce. So his deck's really interesting because he's fully committed to taking control of the opponent's creatures. Okay, that's 4 damage. Any way to pump? No? Alright. He is all in, isn't he? No. What else? We got him. Oh, man. What a match. Down to the last breath. He thought he had me, too, with the shrapnel blast. He thought he had me. Oh, God. You can't really write it up better than that. Let's go to a post-game wrap and talk about this bad boy. So, mono blue is always very good. Blue is always a strong color, always has been, always will be. The thing is, you have to know how to use it. And my God, if this deck doesn't operate fantastically, the more you know about your opponent's deck, the better blue becomes. Because blue is all about knowledge. And yeah, I know I'm getting into Explorer right now because Pauper's coming down the line in another year, but you might as well go in with my favorite way to play the game, which is outthinking your opponent. I like outthinking the opponent and figuring out what they're doing, figuring out what we could do to stop them, what interrupts their plans, what really doesn't, etc., etc. As you saw, we beat a couple of decks in here that I thought were bad matchups for us, more specifically the control thing, and the Rakdos sack deck at the end he just was fantastic player, but did drop 2 games to us. I mean, we ran into some good players out there in Explorer today, and it was fun. It's always better to have good opponents than it is to have bad opponents where we just win easily. I really enjoy it. It's more of a mind game, trying to figure out what we're trying to do. And this deck really aims to just interrupt those few pieces that make your opponent's stuff very good. And I really, really do enjoy it. As far as upgrading this, we're just leaving this bad boy as it is right now. I borrowed this from the internet, so I cannot take credit for this deck. I just want to make sure other people know that this is out there. Spirits are out there, and they're very, very good. As we get things coming out in standard sets, we'll be adding to this guy over time. But for now, I think it's good enough to go into historic events and get the job done. Collect some more cards and hope to God that we open some more wild cards. Thank you for joining today. Make sure you've liked the video and subscribe to the channel if you're still out there. Thank you for joining me this long, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.